UGC MMTTC of Saint Gadge Baba, Amravati University, Maharashtra. I am really extremely happy to share a few of my ideas on outcome-based education to the faculty fraternity. Outcome-based education has to be implemented in all the colleges and universities, in all the programs, engineering, pharmacy, architecture, arts, science, commerce, all programs. Therefore, there is a lot of difference in curriculum design in the traditional format and outcome-based education format. Unless the faculty develop expertise, unless they know, they learn, they study, they will not be able to develop, design good curriculum in outcome-based approach. So in my lecture, I shall give both the formats, the format given by UGC and also the format given by NBA, because NBA format is applicable for engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and management programs, whereas UGC format is applicable for all other programs other than engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and arts, science, commerce, law, all other programs, right? Now, I shall proceed with the presentation of my lecture in the form of a PowerPoint presentation. See, this will not be possible to my computer to put it in the full slide mode. So I shall be explaining in this mode. However, the size of the letter is such that you will be all of you will be able to see my slides very clearly through your computer. Then when we talk about outcome-based education, the definition is given by Spady in 1994. We always quote that definition. OBE, outcome-based education, OBE means we clearly focus and organize everything in an educational system around what is essential for all the students to be able to do after undergoing significant learning experiences. So after undergoing significant learning experiences by the students inside the classroom and outside the classroom, it's not that you give the lecture and leave the hall. That is your experience, but that will not be learning experiences to the students. That means you have to organize some activities, either problem-based learning or group discussion or case study analysis, some kind of activity you have to organize inside the classroom and outside the classroom. That is only when you organize activities, they will have learning experiences. That is important. Accordingly, we organize, we should be clear what is needed by the students. By the time they graduate, we should have futuristic trends also. By the time they complete 4 years UG program, what they need, we should have clarity first of all. All the faculty in the department should have brainstorming sessions. They should invite faculty, experts from outside, eminent academicians, and employing organizations, members from employing organizations. All together, they sit and decide what is necessary for the students to be able to do. Then all together organize curriculum, then instructional strategies and assessment strategies. So outcome-based education consists of three components: curriculum design, instructional strategies, and assessment strategies. I shall explain because 1.5 hours time, this is sufficient to explain very clearly so that you can develop expertise at the end of this lecture on curriculum design. Other aspects, instructional strategies and assessment strategies, I shall give the links of my videos in YouTube. You can go through the videos. You will have total clarity on the entire pedagogy. Outcome-based education system aims at developing a clear set of essential learning outcomes around which all the education system's components can be focused. We have to establish conditions and opportunities within the educational system that enable the students to achieve those essential learning outcomes. What exactly are learning outcomes? Learning outcomes, we should understand this. This is very important. What do we mean by learning outcomes? Learning outcomes are clear learning results that the teachers want the students to demonstrate at the end of significant learning experiences. Outcomes are what actually learners can actually do with what they know and have learned. They are the tangible applications of what has been learned. This means outcomes are actions and performances that reflect the learner's competence in using the content, information, ideas, and tools successfully. Revised Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels is widely accepted by the educators to formulate the levels of learning outcomes of any given course. Therefore, I shall explain briefly the revised Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels. Level 1, the lowest level, remember level. The lowest level in the classification in the cognitive domain that is related to mental process and thinking process. Ability to remember without understanding anything. That is the lowest level called remember level. Then understand level. Ability to understand. The students have the ability to understand the subject and explain in one's own words with new examples. Then third level, next higher level, apply level. Ability of the student to apply the learned concepts in new contexts, unknown contexts. Apply level is next higher level than understand level. Then analyze. Next higher level than apply. The students will be able to break the information into constant parts and determine the relation between the parts, how the parts relate to one another, and to the overall structure. This is analyze level. Next higher level is evaluate level. The students will be able to evaluate different designs, models, procedures, softwares, algorithms, and judge which one is superior to others. They will be able to evaluate a given product as per the existing standards and benchmarks. Then level 6, create level. Next higher level than evaluate level. The students will be able to synthesize new materials, new products, generate new ideas, new models, new software, new designs of a product, etc. This is create level. Create level is the highest of all the levels. So Bloom's classification, what is the use of it for the teachers? Teachers can plan different levels of mastery of the subject for that particular course. Students also can know at what levels of mastery they have to prepare. Accordingly, they will use the learning strategies and learning materials. So Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels is helpful for both teachers and students. All these levels of mastery are related to thinking process, mental process. Therefore, they are called cognitive levels. Cognitive levels. So there is a hierarchy, ranking order among these levels, starting with the lowest level, remember, then understand, then apply, then analyze, then evaluate, then finally create. Remember is the lowest and create is the highest. Remember, understand, and apply are considered to be most basic. Therefore, they are called lower order thinking skills, lots. Analyze, evaluate, and create are considered to be more complex. Therefore, they are called higher order thinking skills, arts. So always we have to design our curriculum with the course outcomes at both lower order thinking skills and also higher order thinking skills, depending upon the year. Then here I am going to explain. You have cognitive level here. Against each cognitive level, I have shown action verbs, examples of action verbs, which are used in writing the learning outcomes. For example, remember level, the examples are define, state, list, name, identify, recognize, etc. Understand level, explain, classify, describe, discuss, give examples, etc. So the complete list is given in the internet. You can go through the complete list. Revised Bloom's taxonomy of learning levels, list of action verbs. Then apply level, action verbs, apply, interpret, solve, show, etc. Analyze level, analyze, calculate, compare, differentiate, etc. Evaluate level, evaluate, judge, conclude, assess, etc. Create level, create, design, develop, devise, synthesize, etc. You can see here, apply is cognitive level, is found in the action verbs list also. Analyze cognitive level, it is also found in the action verbs list. Evaluate is found in the action verbs list. Create is found in the action verbs list. Whereas remember and understand, you do not find these two in the action verbs list against those levels. Because you cannot give a question, remember so and so theorem, remember so and so laws. You will say, state so and so theorem, define so and so laws. Therefore, remember cognitive level, but remember should not be used as the action verb. Please note this point, sir. This is a common error which most of the faculty do, untrained faculty do. Similarly, understand the procedure of so and so thing. Will you give a question like this? No. Explain the procedure of so and so. Describe an experiment like that. Therefore, understand also should not be used as the action verb. This is the common error. Please note the common error. Then, for the benefit of the faculty, because many faculty may be newly recruited faculty, young faculty, right? So for their benefit, I have developed some guidelines. How to write the learning outcomes, course learning outcomes, how to write. If you follow these guidelines, you can write very standard course outcomes and error-free course outcomes, I can assure you. So you won't find these guidelines in any textbook or internet, except my own video, how to formulate the course learning outcomes, that is in YouTube. Okay. So I shall explain now the guidelines. I draw your kind attention to follow the guidelines and note down the questions if you have any, so that at the end of my lecture, I shall provide time for question answer session. You can ask me questions. Your questions are most welcome. Now, let us try to understand the guidelines. Guideline 1, write the learning outcomes in terms of what the learner does after undergoing a particular course or unit of the course, in terms of the learner. This is called performance part. Please note that, sir. This is called performance part. Guideline 2, we have to use a common stem. Every time you need not repeat. Only at the beginning, you can write a common stem. What is that common stem? After completing this course successfully, the student should be able to, or the students will be able to, that is the common stem. That is the second guideline. Third guideline, the learning outcome consists of 3 parts: performance part, condition part, criterion part. I shall explain what these 3 parts. Performance part. First one is performance part. Performance part includes an action verb and subject content. And performance part is essential in all the course learning outcomes, in all the unit level learning outcomes. Action verb and subject content. That's all. Then condition part. The conditions under which the learner will perform using a resource or using in a particular context. That is the condition part. A database you may have to use, a software you may have to use. That is the condition part. You have to mention that database. Otherwise, it is incomplete. Then what is criterion part? It means how well the learner will perform in terms of quality parameter. Will be able to design the algorithm, write the algorithm without any error. When you say without any error, that is the quality parameter. That is the criterion part. The students will be able to write a coherent paragraph without any error. An English teacher may write a course learning outcome like that. That is the criterion part. Please note, performance part is essential. Condition part and criterion part wherever necessary. The fourth guideline, the learning outcome must be achievable by the students. When I say must be achievable by the students, that means by majority of the students, by 80% of the students. Therefore, you should be very careful. In the first year level of the undergraduate program, you should not try to create level and evaluate level learning outcomes at such high levels. Up to analyze level. Analyze can be the highest level in the course learning outcomes during the first year course. In third year and fourth year courses, you can write create level and evaluate level also. In the mini projects and major projects also, you can write create level and evaluate level also. Please be very careful. Just because we have to write standard course outcomes, we should not write over ambitiously. The course outcomes must be achievable by majority of the students. Majority means 80% of the students. Then guideline 5, the learning outcome must be measurable. Choose the suitable action verb. Do not use the action verbs like remember, understand, know, acquire, imagine, appreciate, think, believe, realize, gain, etc., which are not measurable. This is a caution not to commit such error. Then guideline 6, fix the learning level first, the cognitive level first. Then choose the appropriate action verb, not the other way around. Okay. Because Bloom has given the same action verb under more than one cognitive level. Therefore, first fix the cognitive level, then write the suitable action verb. Then guideline 7, start writing each learning outcome with the action verb of the performance part. That is guideline 7. Guideline 8, use only one action verb of the performance part for each learning outcome. Don't write, remember, the students will be able to remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. No. What is the highest cognitive level? Highest cognitive level, suppose if it is analyze, you write the action verb against analyze from the list, right? So if you write that action verb corresponding to the highest cognitive level, which you are trying to mention, then the lower cognitive levels are achieved. That is the meaning of hierarchy. If analyze level you have written, apply level, understand level, remember level are deemed to have been achieved. Please note this point. If you write learning outcome at create level, the evaluate level, analyze level, apply level, understand level, remember level are deemed to have been achieved. There is a hierarchy. There is a ranking order in the learning levels. Ninth guideline, the learning outcome must be easily understood by the students without any ambiguity. Please put yourself in the place of the students and write the learning outcomes. Don't use complex sentences, English language, simple sentences. Then guideline 10, for each learning outcome, cognitive level must be mentioned within the brackets so that the students know at what level they have to prepare, right? It is necessary. Guideline 11, the course outcomes may be mostly at understand level and higher level. Course outcomes, not unit level learning outcomes. Don't write course outcomes at remember level. That is not acceptable. Understand level and higher level. For unit level, if you want to, while teaching, you have to write the unit level learning outcomes also. There you can write remember and understand. Okay. So the number of outcomes, course outcomes, may be 5 or 6 for a 3 or 4 credit course. Please note this point. Don't write 4 course outcomes for a 3 or 4 credit course, 3 or 4 course outcomes. Why I am mentioning this is I have conducted several offline workshops also. So there, the colleges, they mentioned that they have asked all the faculty to divide the syllabus into 4 units. For each unit, 1 learning outcome, 4 learning outcomes. That is not acceptable. The National Board of Accreditation mentioned 6 course outcomes for a 3 or 4 credit course. But UGC has not mentioned. Therefore, I mentioned 5 or 6 course outcomes for a 3 or 4 credit courses. If you have a 2 credit course, you have also 2 credit courses, then 3 or 4 course outcomes are sufficient, right? So these 12 guidelines, if you follow, right, you can write very standard course outcomes. When you have any doubt, you go to my video. There I have explained in the video, all your doubts will be clear. Or you go through the PPT. PPT will be shared with all of you. Any subject content discussed in the class and is remembered and recalled, the cognitive level is remember only. The cognitive levels apply, analyze, evaluate, create always refer to unknown contexts, familiar but not discussed in the class, and real-time problems. Mini projects, major projects. Yes, you can write create level and evaluate level. Therefore, cognitive level of each learning outcome has to be understood carefully by the teacher while formulating the learning outcomes of any course, and it must be mentioned against each learning outcome. The students will then be able to understand clearly as to what cognitive level they have to reach in that particular learning outcome. So now, after explaining the 12 guidelines, I want to give you the examples of course learning outcomes. Because by examples, the subject will be understood more clearly by you, by all of you. So in choosing the examples, I have chosen one example from engineering, one example from science, 2 or 3 examples from social sciences, and one example from humanities, and one example from management. So that because this target group consists of diverse participants, in order to satisfy the needs of all the participants, I give examples from different categories of knowledge, categories of disciplines of knowledge. So course name, design and analysis of algorithms. It is an example for engineering. Course outcomes, we write course outcomes. Then what is the first thing we should write? We should write the common stem. What is the common stem here? After completion of the course, the students should be able to. That is the common stem. Then demonstrate action verb, familiarity with major algorithms and data structures. So that means only performance part. What is the cognitive level? Understand level. This is how you have to write. Apply action verb, important algorithmic design paradigms and methods of analysis. Subject content. Action verb plus subject content. What is it called? Performance part. That is enough. There is no need for condition or criterion part here in this particular case. What is the cognitive level? Apply level. Then analyze action verb, the asymptotic performance of algorithms. Cognitive level, analyze. Write action verb, the rigorous correctness proofs for algorithms. Cognitive level, apply level. Now you look at the fifth one. Synthesize efficient algorithms without any error. When I say without any error, I'm trying to bring in here the quality parameter. I'm expecting my students to write the algorithms without any error. Therefore, I have to mention there. Simply they write the algorithms with full of errors. It's not acceptable to me. Without any error, therefore, I have mentioned there. Then in common engineering design situations, that is the context. Otherwise, what for they write algorithms? Therefore, in course outcome 5, I have mentioned performance part, condition part, and criterion part. because condition part is necessary here in common engineering design situations. Criterion part also is necessary here without any error. And performance part, synthesize efficient algorithms. Performance part, condition part, and criterion part, all the three you can find in course outcome 5. This is an example for engineering programs. Then for science programs, analytical chemistry at MSc level, course outcomes. After completion of this course, the students will be able to, again common STEM, apply the principles of data analysis, etc. Apply level. Apply basic concepts of volumetric and gravimetric analysis, etc. Apply level. Select suitable spectroscopic technique and interpret the results, analyze level. Interpret the results of thermal methods of analysis, analyze level. Interpret the results of different electroanalytical methods, analyze level. Evaluate the suitability and appropriateness of different methods of analysis for any given application industry, evaluate level. You can see here, apply level, analyze level, and evaluate level. Very standard course at MSc level. You have it evaluate level also. If it is an organic chemistry course, then you can write create level also, MSc level. Write the scheme. They will be able to write the scheme for synthesis of any given organic molecule. Like that create level also you can write if it is an organic chemistry course. For analytical chemistry course, unless it is MTech analytical instrumentation, then you can write create level. Design circuit, right, for the new any given instrument like that. Okay. Then comparative politics. This is an example for social science courses. Course learning outcomes. On successful completion of the course, students should be able to, this is the common STEM, describe and assess the study of comparative politics in a systematic socio-scientific way, that is cognitive level, understand level. Examine key issues in comparative politics, analyze level. Identify interesting research questions in comparative politics, and that is cognitive level, understand level. Evaluate the usefulness of various theoretical approaches to address research questions, analyze level. Describe a variety of political systems around the level, understand level. Explain how democratic and non-democratic regimes emerge and survive, understand level. You have here 3 analyze level and then 3 understand level. You don't have even a single one at remember level. Even in social science courses, you can write course learning outcomes, a few of them at analyze level. Please remember this point. Many people, many participants in earlier programs, offline programs, used to say, how to write in social sciences at analyze level. Therefore, this is the example how you can write at analyze level. Then classical sociology theory. After completing this course, students will be able to articulate classical sociology theory, understand level. Explain how classical sociology theory is still used by contemporary scholars, understand level. Analyze original source material in the form of monographs and articles by thinkers like Marx, Weber, Durkheim, Simmel, etc. from 19th century to mid-20th century, analyze level. Apply key classical social theories to current social problems and issues, apply level. Construct outline of the history of emergence of discipline of sociology, analyze level. Here also 2 analyze level, 1 apply level, and 2 understand level, right? Then educational psychology, another example of social science course, because you have several disciplines of social sciences. So I have mentioned more examples of social sciences. After completion of the course, students will be able to analyze the classroom process, including teacher effectiveness, school structure and organizational factors, analyze level. Critically evaluate psychological models and methods of assessment, evaluate level. Demonstrate a critical understanding of psychological interventions with students with additional support needs, including learning and behavioral difficulties. Right. This is understand level. Demonstrate a critical understanding of psychological theories involving different learning contexts, example, behaviorism, social learning theory, etc. Apply level. Explain how to measure and empirically research issues within educational psychology using appropriate research methods, understand level. Here also you have apply level, analyze level, evaluate level, and understand level. Another social science course. Then principles of management. After completion of this course, the students will be able to integrate management principles into management practices, cognitive level, apply level. Assess global situation, including opportunities and threats that will impact most of the organizations. Analyze level. Assess managerial practices and choices relative to ethical principles and standards, analyze level. Specify how the managerial tasks of planning, organizing, and controlling can affect in a variety of circumstances, apply level. Evaluate different approaches to addressing issues of diversity, evaluate level. Evaluate the global context for taking managerial actions of planning, organizing, and controlling, evaluate level. You see here two evaluate level, two analyze level, and two apply level. A very standard course on principles of management. Then a literature course, any literature course for that matter, a Hindi literature or Marathi literature or Telugu literature, any literature, you can have analyze level courses. Apply the knowledge of social, political, and intellectual context, apply level. Analyze the way in which theatrical productions and analyze level. Analyze particular Shakespearean sonnets and appreciate Shakespeare's comedies in the form, analyze level. Interpret particular Shakespearean works in literary, analyze level. Any literature courses, you can have a few course outcomes at analyze level, definitely. Okay. English for technical communication. This is also a kind of English course in most of the colleges. Right. At the end of the course, the students will be able to common STEM, explain the basic principles of grammar and vocabulary, understand level. Write clear and coherent paragraphs, apply level. Write effective resume, cover letter, and letters for a variety of purposes, apply level. Prepare technical reports and interpret graphs, apply level. Develop reading comprehension skills, apply level. Develop English speech sounds, stress, and intonation, apply level. So 1 understand level and 5 apply level out of 6. And please also note, I have given all the examples for different categories of disciplines. Please note that for a given course, it is not necessary that some at understand level, some at apply level, some at course outcomes at no, not necessary. For example, here 1 understand level, 5 apply level. You can have 2 understand level, 2 apply level, 2 analyze level. You can have 2 understand level and 4 analyze level. It depends on the nature of the course. The guidelines, 12 guidelines do not include that this many understand level like that. No, it depends upon the nature of the course, right? So I have given now, I have explained the revised Bloom's taxonomy of cognitive levels, right? I've also explained the 12 guidelines, how to write the course learning outcomes. Most important, every faculty must have expertise in writing the course learning outcomes. I have also given examples of different disciplines of knowledge,
हम्म.
course learning.
हो.
Now, you should be able to write the course
महानच नाही
learning
केली.
outcomes. Mr. Ghanshyam, please mute your mic. Mr.
फक्त ते दर
Ghanshyam,
वेळेसचं काम आहे त्याचं.
Ghanshyam Shuklaji, please mute your mic. Ghanshyam Shuklaji, please mute your mic. Please. Ghanshyam Shuklaji, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic, sir. Then, origin of outcome-based education in India. This is based on the Washington Accord. What is Washington Accord? Washington Accord is an accord signed initially among 6 countries like Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and United States. In the year 1989, long ago, its purpose is to mutually recognize and accept the qualifications for higher studies and employment opportunities mutually. UK will recognize USA, USA will recognize UK, like that among these 6 countries initially. India has become a signatory of this accord on June 13th, 2014. That means after 25 years. Initially 1989, we have entered into agreement in 2014, 25 years. That means now 20 countries. Initially, it started with 6 countries. Now 20 countries have signed the Washington Accord. Now Indian graduates can go to all those 20 countries for higher studies and employment. Our degrees are acceptable by them. In Australia is there, Germany, many European countries are there among the 20 countries, right? So because of our signature of on the Washington Accord, our students can go to advanced countries for higher studies and employment opportunities. This is a very important step, a milestone in higher education in the country. So now the condition is all the member countries must accept the graduate attributes, right? Every program, all the programs must have graduate attributes. What are the graduate attributes? What do you mean by graduate attributes? After completing graduation, the students will be able to demonstrate generic knowledge, skills, and attitudes considered essential for all graduate engineers of 21st century. First, it started with engineering graduates. Only outcome-based education, only with engineering graduates, NBA. Later, it extended to pharmacy, architecture, and management. Okay. Then, in 2019, UGC has come into picture. It has given graduate attributes for all other programs, arts, science, commerce, humanities, all other programs other than engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and management. Right. So UGC has given certain objectives of the learning outcomes based curriculum framework. It called Learning Outcomes Based Curriculum Framework, LOCF. UGC LOCF. I have published 3 videos on UGC LOCF, part 1, part 2, part 3. Then according to UGC LOCF, what are the graduate attributes in a simplified form? 12 graduate attributes, I have made them without sacrificing the essence given by UGC. Because NBA also has given, National Board of Accreditation also has given 12 graduate attributes. Disciplinary knowledge. The first one is disciplinary knowledge. Second one is communication skills. Third one is critical thinking and problem solving. Fourth one is analytical reasoning. Fifth one is research related skills. Sixth one is collaboration, cooperation, and teamwork. Seventh one is information and digital literacy. Eighth one is multicultural competence. Ninth one is moral and ethical awareness or reasoning. 10th one, community engagement. 11th one, leadership readiness and qualities. 12th one, self-learning and lifelong learning. Any program, where it is a BA program, BSc program, MA, MSc, MCom, MBA, any program, 12 graduate attributes UGC has given. Okay. So this is the curriculum design framework in the UGC format. So what programs come under UGC? All other programs. Fine arts, law, science, arts, commerce, all programs other than engineering, pharmacy, architecture, and management. Only these four come under NBA. All other programs, majority of the programs, come under UGC LOCF. So this is the curriculum design framework. All of you must develop expertise in writing. How to write also I shall explain. First of all, what are the components I shall explain. Then how to write each one also I shall explain. Okay, sir? So first one, vision and mission. When we say vision and mission, institute has vision and mission statements, every institute. One vision statement and 3 to 4 mission statements, every college, every university. Your college also will have vision mission statement. Besides that, your department should also have vision and mission statements. Please note this point. Your department. Each department should have its own vision and mission statements. Not the program. Program will not have vision and mission. The department which organizes the program will have vision and mission statements. Then next one is qualification descriptors. The next component in the design is qualification descriptors. Means what? After completing the graduation, what the graduates are capable of in terms of disciplinary knowledge, in terms of application of knowledge, in terms of self-learning and lifelong learning skills, in terms of communication skills, in terms of professional ethics, in terms of job opportunities, what the graduates are capable of. Those are called qualification descriptors, about 6 numbers. I shall give the format also. Then you have program learning outcomes, about 12 numbers. For these qualification descriptors for each program. Program learning outcomes for each program. Then you have course learning outcomes for each programs. I have already explained how to write course learning outcomes and examples also. Okay. Here on the right side of the arrow, which is not visible to you, that there are graduate attributes. That is hidden here. So that is whatever is hidden is graduate attributes. Graduate attributes are defined by UGC for arts, science, and humanities programs. For engineering, management, etc., defined by NBA. You don't have to write. What you have to write is vision and mission of the department, qualification descriptors of every program. If you are offering one BA program and 2 MA programs, for each program, qualification descriptors have to be different. Program learning outcomes have to be different. Naturally, course learning outcomes will be different. This is the terminology which you have to use for UGC framework. Right. So then I am also giving here the NBA framework, because in the participants there may be engineering from engineering background, management background, pharmacy background among the participants. For their sake, this is the framework. If no participants from engineering, pharmacy, management, architecture, you ignore this. Assuming that even if one participant is there, I have concern. So vision and mission, the same, there is no difference. So there, in UGC framework, we called it qualification descriptors. The meaning is same, but the name given in this program educational objectives. So in UGC, qualification descriptors. In NBA framework, program educational objectives. In UGC, program learning outcomes. In NBA framework, it is program outcomes. Here, instead of course learning outcomes, it is mentioned course outcomes. Essentially, both the frameworks are similar. Only thing is the nomenclature, right? The names are, in some cases, they are different, right? Essentially, both are similar. Now, I have explained the two frameworks, what part? What are the various components? What part? But how to write? How to write? So vision and mission statements of the department. Vision is a futuristic statement that the department would like to achieve over a long period of time. Mission statements are 3 to 4 mission statements. Yours is a very reputed institution. You can write 4 mission statements. Each department, 1 vision statements, 4 mission statements. How to write 4 mission statements? MS1 is related to human resources development through teaching programs offered by the department. MS2 related to research. MS3 related to extension programs, sponsored research projects, training programs as applicable. MS4 collaboration with other international and national. Like this, you can write 4 mission statements. So this is the best practice across the world I am presenting before you. Then this is an example I am giving you by Central University of Karnataka, for which I was the consultant for writing all this. So I am quoting the Department of Chemistry, Vision, Department of Chemistry of Central University of Karnataka. Vision, to be one of the well-recognized departments of chemistry for higher learning in India and the world in terms of producing skilled and employable chemists, teachers, and entrepreneurs who are go-getters in meeting the challenges of industry and society. This is the vision statement, single statement, but covered everything. Then mission statements, MS1, to impart quality education at postgraduate and doctoral levels, right? With a well-designed curriculum to meet the demands of academia, research labs, and industry. MS2, to provide the state-of-art research facilities to carry out pioneering research in the cutting-edge areas of chemistry. Mission Statement 3, to become a hub for human resource development and sponsored research projects with funding from national and global agencies. Mission Statement 4, to associate with the national and international reputed institutions for excellence and collaborative research, right? So, example also I have given. Based on this example, based on my explanation, you can write excellent vision and mission statements for your department. Then program educational objectives, NBA terminology, qualification descriptors, UGC terminology. The qualification descriptors are program educational objectives. Describe the academic standard for a specific qualification in terms of disciplinary knowledge, skills, competencies, attitudes, and values that the holders of the qualification are expected to demonstrate. And this is the format. I have prepared the format also. So you please, I have already requested the organizers to give this PPT, share this PPT with all of you, right? So please ask for the PPT so that you can easily write. So this is the template for writing the qualification descriptors. This is the template. So QD1, whatever is written in black, you retain as it is. Whatever is written in red, there only you fill, right? QD2, the entire thing is black only. Use knowledge and skills required for identifying the problems, etc. You don't have to do anything. For all programs, you write the same thing, no issue. QD3, apply disciplinary knowledge and transferable skills. Mention different important areas of the program. QD4, communicate the results of studies undertaken in the fields of. Mention a few important fields of the academic program. QD5, demonstrate skills of self-learning and lifelong learning to meet one's own needs using research and development work and professional materials. You don't have to change at all. For all programs, you write the same thing. QD6, demonstrate knowledge and transferable skills in the fields of. Mention important fields of the program. Relevant in employment opportunities like mention a few employment opportunities. In organizations like mention a few. So like that, using this template, using this format, you can write qualification descriptors for any program. So this is the for Central University of Karnataka. So after the PPT, you can go through the PPT. Then what we have to do is we have to do mapping table. Qualification descriptors here, 6 qualification descriptors, 4 mission statements. We have to make a mapping table like this with the 3 highest agreement, highest mapping, 2 medium level mapping, 1 low level mapping. In the scale between 1 and 3, we have to map. This is the practice all over the world, accepted practice all over the world, mapping. 3 for highest mapping, 2 medium mapping, 1 low level mapping, right? So if there is no mapping, you have to put a dash there. You should not leave that, okay? Then you will have problems when you go for accreditation by NAC. They will ask queries. Then program learning outcomes. I have already explained that. They should be able to demonstrate, right? Subject-specific knowledge and skills and competencies. They should demonstrate program learning outcomes. They should also focus on knowledge to prepare students for further study, employment, and citizenship. 12 graduate attributes you have. For each graduate attribute, you write program learning outcome applying to your program. 12 graduate attributes, 12 program learning outcomes. For each graduate attribute, 1 program learning outcome. That is how you have to write the program learning outcomes. Program learning outcomes are specific for the program. Qualification descriptors are specific for the program. Then you also have program specific outcomes. If the curriculum of an academic program has a few specialized courses, then may include 2 to 3 program specific outcomes, PSOs of those specialized courses. Suppose if you have computer science, whether it is in BCom or BSc or BTech computer science. For example, you have introduced artificial intelligence. You write 1 PSO related to artificial intelligence. You have introduced machine learning. You write a 1 PSO related to machine learning. You have introduced Internet of Things. You write 1 PSO related to Internet of Things. So advanced courses. Every program should introduce advanced courses. So then program learning outcomes. This is the example of Central University of Karnataka. I'm skipping for want of time. Then mapping, program learning outcomes and program specific outcomes here on this side, and qualification descriptors here between program learning outcomes, qualification descriptors. Another map, second mapping table. 3 high mapping, 2 medium mapping, 1 low mapping here also. Then course learning outcomes. I have already discussed in detail what are course learning outcomes. But I have to discuss course design. A good course design consists of these following components. Number 1, prerequisite knowledge. Number 2, course learning outcomes, 5 to 6 for 3 to 4 credit course. Mapping of CLOs with one or more of the PLOs in the form of a table. Detailed syllabus including references. Teaching and learning strategies in brief. Assessment methods and weightages in brief. This is a very good course design. Under my guidance, it is implemented in some of the universities, including Central University of Hyderabad. Okay. So prerequisite knowledge, course learning outcomes, mapping table between CLOs with one or more PLOs, detailed syllabus, teaching learning strategies in brief, assessment methods and weightages in brief. Students should know the course design on the first day of instruction itself. Now I am explaining to you briefly the template part. This template you can use for any program, whether by NBA or by UGC, any program, you can use this template. Name of the department, vision statement, that is single statement, mission statements 3 to 4 numbers, name of the academic program, qualification descriptors or program educational objectives, NBA terminology, program educational objectives, UGC terminology, qualification descriptors, mapping qualification descriptors with mission statements, QDs and MS, 3 for high mapping, 2 for medium mapping, 1 for low mapping, dash for no mapping. Then program learning outcomes, 12 program learning outcomes. Please remember, you write 12 program learning outcomes. 5, 6 program learning outcomes, not acceptable. 12 program learning outcomes. 2 to 3 program specific outcomes. Again, mapping table between program learning outcomes and program specific outcomes and qualification descriptors. This is the second mapping table. 3 for high mapping, 2 for medium mapping, 1 for low mapping. Then course design, course code, title of the course, LTP. L stands for lecture hours, T stands for tutorial hours, P stands for practical hours, field work, community engagement. Then number of credits. Generally 1 lecture hour, 1 credit, 1 tutorial hour, 1 credit, 2 hours of practical, 2 hours of field work, 2 hours of community engagement, right? 2 hours, that is equivalent to 1 credit. Please note this point. Then you should write first prerequisite knowledge. This is the template again. Then course learning outcomes, 6 course learning outcomes. Again, mapping table between CLOs and PLOs. Here I draw your kind attention, sir. Please pay 1 minute your total attention here. Here, most of the faculty commit mistakes. When you prepare this mapping table between course learning outcomes and program learning outcomes and program specific outcomes, you have to consider course learning outcomes and also your teaching learning strategies. You should use active learning strategies based on activities by the students inside the classroom and as outside the classroom. Active learning strategies. Lecturing method is no longer valid in outcome-based education. So those active learning strategies and assessment strategies. Continuous assessment and comprehensive assessment. Lot of changes have to be done by your universities and colleges. in active learning strategies and assessment strategies. So you have to take into consider, because how they are achieving course learning outcomes by your active learning strategies and by your assessment strategies only, they are achieving the course learning outcomes. Therefore, while mapping this table, you have to fill the communication skills PLOs, self-learning and lifelong learning, moral awareness and ethics, collaboration and teamwork. You have to fill those also with either 3 or 2. You should not keep blank there, because your teaching learning strategies and assessment strategies improve their communication skills. Your assignments improve their self-learning. Your projects, mini projects or major projects, improve teamwork, collaboration, then information and digital literacy. All those general program learning outcomes must be covered by appropriate active learning strategies and assessment strategies. Don't leave those boxes empty. Only course learning outcomes, if you map, most of the boxes will be empty. That is not correct. That is not acceptable. You will be questioned by the NAC team, right? Therefore, you please take into consideration your course learning outcomes, teaching learning strategies, and also assessment strategies in filling this table, right? Then detailed syllabus, teaching learning strategies, assessment methods and weightages in brief. All this is course design. Drafting the syllabus, salient points. It must be the student-centered syllabus. It should be of great relevance to the needs of the students by the time they graduate. The course learning outcomes and the syllabus must be discussed in the faculty meeting, including the junior-most faculty, with external experts from academia, industry, and other employing organizations and alumni, then board of studies, then academic council. Lot of work has to be done in curriculum design. The current and future trends in the discipline must be taken into consideration. The syllabus must not be heavy in outcome-based curriculum education. That is what has been mentioned in NEP also, 2020 also. Because you have to implement active learning strategies, activities. Therefore, remove 30% of the traditional syllabus. What syllabus has to be removed? Whatever is redundant, outdated, you remove. Whatever the students can learn by self-learning, you remove. What is important is to teach them how to learn, not dumping a lot of information. Right? This I discussed. If a teacher designs a standard outcome-based curriculum and implements the same by using appropriate pedagogy and assessment strategies, the teacher mentors generations of students to become innovators, entrepreneurs, experts in one's own profession, and above all, great teachers like you. Such teachers will be remembered by their students forever. Such teachers will attain meaning and fulfillment of their lives. I pay rich tributes to such great teachers, and I wish that all of you become such great teachers to have a great positive impact upon the students for generations to come. Right? These are the recommended videos. My channel name is Professor Space BV Space Appa Space Rao. This is my channel name. So if you type the channel name, all these videos will appear, the entire pedagogy, and I am continuously uploading new videos related to pedagogy and outcome-based education. Everything is covered here in these videos, right? Even the latest videos, I have covered mapping of course outcomes with program outcomes, calculation of attainment of course outcomes and program outcomes, intuitive learning, question paper setting and grading in outcome-based education, how to deal with diverse learners, the 3 domains of learning. Right? So the 33 videos are mentioned here in the pedagogy, but the total number of videos are around 54 related to other subjects also, some open lectures also are there. But these 33 videos are of great importance to all of you who are interested in improving upon the entire pedagogy and to become great educators, right? So if you are great teachers, then you will have great imprint upon students for generations, right? So with this, I conclude my lecture, and now it is open for questions. Question answer session, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such an insightful session towards the designing of outcome-based curriculum. We are really thankful to you, the participant. Now the forum is open for the discussion, queries or the question, or if you have any kind of observation with regards to this session, you can note down here. Please, anyone.
Now the floor is open to the participants. Your questions are of great importance to me, sir. Any questions? Any problems which you are encountering while designing the curriculum, while teaching, whatever, pedagogy, whatever. Deliberately, I have kept this 12 minutes for question answer session only. UGC also has mentioned very clearly there must be question answer session wherein the participants can ask questions. Questions, please. You can ask me any question.
Sir, any timeline for revision of syllabus to
Yeah.
mention in the?
Thank you for your question. Normally, if it is a PG program, I advise you to try to revise once in 2 years. If it is a PG program, even if it is a minor revision, because a fresh batch will come. 4 years will be too long for revision. If it is a 3-year degree program, once in 3 years. If it is a 4-year degree program, once in 4 years. Major revisions. Minor revisions, you can relate in a particular course. In a particular course, you want to add advanced topics in a particular course, and you want to modify the course outcomes. That you can do every year, whenever you find it necessary. It is a dynamic process. Major revisions for PG once in 2 years, for 4-year UG once in 4 years, for 3-year UG once in 3 years. Right? So for minor revisions, every year, this is a dynamic process. It's a very good question. Right? You can do it every year.
Sir, a minute revision, can you give example for that?
For example, you wanted to introduce a new elective in the list of electives. Based on the advances in the knowledge, you wanted to introduce, earlier you had three or four electives. You wanted to remove one elective and put a new elective in that. That's a minor revision. And
Okay, sir.
you wanted to modify course outcomes. You have written 6 course outcomes earlier.
Hmm.
Based on your experience, you wanted to modify 1 or 2 course outcomes. You can modify. That is minor revision.
Okay, sir.
You wanted to modify the assessment strategies based on the earlier experience, right? So you wanted to reduce marks for assignments. You wanted to introduce a mini project newly based on your expertise in pedagogy. That comes under minor revision. It's a very good question. Very good question.
Sir, one course is there in the engineering, that is the Constitution of India.
Yeah.
But the university has told us for internal assessment only. A university paper is not there. So how do you, means internal assessment is assignment or is there, but we can keep class tests for that? And what will be the weightage for it?
Yeah, actually, strictly speaking, outcome-based education includes continuous and comprehensive assessment. Truly speaking, continuous assessment must have the latest. There are two models: continuous assessment 50%, end semester examination 50%, or continuous assessment 60%, end semester examination 40%. These are the two models, valuable models. But in outcome-based education, the entire 100 marks, continuous assessment and comprehensive assessment, must be done by the teacher who taught the course. You
Okay,
understand
sir.
my point, sir? There should not be any
Yes.
external examiner who has not taught the
Mm.
course and who
Mm.
will be testing the students. That is not
O-
correct. That should not be in outcome-based education. Outcome-based education means 100% continuous as well as comprehensive assessment must be done by the teacher only. That is the first point. Second point is, even in Constitution of India courts, there should be a variety of assessments. There can be assignments, there can be tests, there can be group discussions, right? Or there can be mini projects, variety as applicable to that particular course. Then there should be an end semester examination for comprehensive evaluation. So you can give 60% for continuous assessment and 40% for end semester examination, because NEP 2020 is stressing to reduce the marks for end semester examination. So
Okay, sir.
I am advising 60% for continuous assessment, 40% end semester examination wherever I go.
Okay,
Right.
sir.
So
Okay, thank you,
Constitution
sir.
of India is a very good course, very good course.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, so I think even for engineering graduates or science graduates must know thoroughly the Constitution of India, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So therefore, it must be dealt with at par with other courses.
Sir,
Okay,
No
one
sir.
of the
dilution of
question in the chat
standards.
box, sir.
Sir,
Sir, there is a one question in the chat box.
what is the question?
Do the tutorial of 1 hour is given one credit in the NEP pattern? Please explain.
Yeah. 1 hour tutorial, 1 hour, 1 credit. 1 hour tutorial, 1 credit. Earlier, a few years ago, we used to give 1 credit for 2 hour tutorial. But now, NUP pattern, UGC pattern, UGC is guiding us. 1 hour tutorial is equivalent to 1 hour credit, 1 credit. You please go through the revised UGC guidelines 2018. So the latest ones. So there you can find that. But 2 hours lab work, towards community engagement, towards field work, equivalent to 1 credit.
Yes, participants, is there any more questions?
Questions, please. You
Sir,
can
I have
ask.
one question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, in 2 hours practical session,
Yeah.
for example, we are conducting physics practicals.
Yeah.
2 hours is not sufficient for, say, heating experiments or, say, cooling experiments. All of.
Yeah.
So what
You're
should be
right.
done in that case, sir, according
You're
to
right.
you?
One practice is how much time do you need?
At least 3 hours, sir.
3 hours?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, you can give one practice is some universities do three, you conduct 3 hours, give 2 credits.
Okay, sir.
That is the best model.
Otherwise, 2 plus 2, 4 hours. Can we have the pattern like that?
Yeah, 2 plus 2, 4 hours you can have, then 2 credits.
Okay, only 2 credits.
Yeah, 2 plus 2, because for every 2 hours, 1 credit.
Mhm.
If you have 2 sessions, 2 hours each, then 2 credits.
Okay.
Attestation, suppose if you are conducting attestation 3 hours, then also 2 credits. Because fractional credits do not look well, though
Yeah.
some universities give fractional credits also.
Okay.
But some universities say when they give 3 hours practical, they give 2 credits.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
So one best practice is wherever possible, you combine theory component and lab component. Wherever possible. Related lab component. Then increase the number of credits. You can go up to 5 credits or 6 credits also.
Okay.
You have theory, you have tutorial 1 hour, theory 3 hours,
Mhm.
and then 2 hours lab course. All put together 5 credits.
Okay.
That is also a good model for practice, because related theory and component, if they go together, the student's understanding will be better.
Okay.
And if it is done by the same teacher, understanding will be better.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Very good question. There may be many questions. Please ask me. Please clarify all your doubts. For theory assessment, you can have these assignments, tests, etc. But how do you do assessment of the lab courses and project works? Thus must be done only by using rubrics. Right? So what is that rubrics? You please watch my video on rubrics for assessment as a tool for assessment of lab courses and project works. I have explained in detail how objectively we can assess the lab courses and project works.
Thank you, sir. I think
Yeah.
there is no more queries or the questions. So if you could permit,
Yeah,
shall we
yeah.
conclude, sir?
Yeah, fine. Time is also over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on behalf of Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center, Sant Gadge Baba Amravati University and Shri Shivaji Science College, Amravati, I extend my sincere thanks to Professor B.V. Apparao, sir. In spite of his busy schedule, he has enlightened us on such a huge topic, and that is very much essential in today's era while we are working on the NEP and drafting the various syllabi or the curriculum. We are developing various value added and the MOOCs courses. Sir, you are you have given a clear cut roadmap to how to draft these courses with the with special emphasis on the outcome based education that has been expected by the NEP. So we are really thankful to you, sir, and assure
Thank you.
you to implement your inputs in our curricula and upgrade our curricula according to NEP and as well as your suggestion. I am also thankful to all the participants for their patience listening and active interaction during the session. And with the kind consent of Professor Apparao, sir, I would like to declare that this particular session will be over here and we will continue for the next session.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much, sir.
I am leaving with your permission.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir. Hello, Professor Kumar Suresh, sir. Hello, Professor Kumar Suresh, sir.
Yeah, I have already joined.
Yeah, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Shall we start, sir?
Yeah.
So, good afternoon, one and all, once again. gathered in this virtual platform. Friends, as we have already discussed, today's session have been split into the two part. We have completed one of the most important part, that is one of the important pillar of this national education policy, and today we are going to discuss for the one of another important part that has been designed for specifically for the autonomous institution, not only for the autonomous institution, for each and every institution that has been working in the HEI, that is institutional development plan. We are already talking about the long term plan, short term plan, mid term plans. We have to develop our institutions for NAC, for NRF ranking, but UGC has provided a comprehensive framework to develop how to develop our institution in the three different parts, that is short term plan, mid term plan and the long term plan, and that has been called by the institutional development plan. And we will going to discuss with the help of Professor Kumar Suresh sir. Sir, warm welcome you on behalf of the MMTTC Malvi Mission Teacher Training Center, sir, Gadge Baba Amravati University, and one of our top leading institution that is listed in the NRIF list for this year. This is Shri Shivaji Science College. This program has been launched in collaboration with that college, sir, that is affiliated to our institution. Friends, Professor Kumar Suresh sir at presently serving as a professor and the director at Department of Planning and Administration, Department of Educational Administration at National Institute of Educational Planning and Administration, and deemed to be University of Ministry of Education, New Delhi. He was also served as an honorary professor at the Central University of Kerala, which is discipline, strain and initial training and grounding in the theory of research in sociology at the JNU. He has worked in the broad area of the policy and the governance. His spanning over 30 years of research, teaching and the academic career, he has been associated with the n number of national as well as the national important institutes of eminence and the international research collaboration and the capacity development program, including the UNESCO ADDA of Hiroshima University, Forum of Federation, Canada, Bangkok, Berghoff Foundation, Germany, National Research Council for Thailand. As a part of academic collaboration and the endeavor, he has visited many countries, which includes Switzerland, Canada, USA, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Nepal, etc. He has been leading multi-state large research project and the policy-oriented research. He has also been a part of multi-country research of UNESCO. Currently also leading a multi-institutional research group of the African Asian countries. He has the recipient of the Summa Cum Laude on the successful completion of a course of decentralization and the governance at the Institute of Federalism, University of Fribourg, Switzerland, situated in the Switzerland. He has served as a member of the editorial board of UGC Care listed national and the international journal. Beside the international journal, International Cooperation in the Education, he has delivered more than 200 invited talks and he participated in the large number of national as well as the international conferences, seminars and workshops. Over 40 doctoral and MPhil PhD theses and dissertation project reports and the national international diploma programs have been successfully completed under his supervision. He is also served as an expert for evaluating more than 100 doctoral research theses and the MPhil dissertation of different institutions, which includes JNU, DU, IGNU. So he is also served as a member of the expert advisory committee of the UGC as the chairman and the member of the committee for assessing the status of recognizing as a university as per the norms of UGC, as well as granting the status of autonomy colleges, as well as the member of the committee to evaluate the major research project also of the UGC and ICSSR. So friends, this is a brief introduction with regards to Professor Kumar Suresh. There are a number of things that I could told regarding to Professor Kumar Suresh, and he is partially associated with our university because when we have started to develop the SWAYAM courses, sir was one of the member of our academic council, and we have luckily fortunate to because we have sir has provided the meaningful guidance and support during the development of such kind of courses on this SWAYAM platform. So, sir, I again extend my warm welcome to you because, friends, I will request each and everyone kindly take a very interactive part because session is very interactive and more important for our institutional development. So, I again extend, sir, my warm welcome to you and request you to start with your session. Sir, please.
Thank you very much for introducing me in such a detailed manner. In fact, one thing I always share with colleagues or scholars or a student that teacher should be known by the way he is teaching and trying to connect with a student, in this case, of course, colleagues, rather than whatever academic credentials you have at your disposal. That is one thing. But I would like to be known as a teacher rather than all these positions. Positions could be very decorative kind of thing, but actually teacher is one who could connect to the students or the colleagues. Thank you very much. As it has been already said, that institutional development plan is one of the mandatory requirement now. All the institutions, be it university or college, they are supposed to have their institutional development plan in place. It is not that institutions are running without any plan, but really important to see how far these institutional plans, which are in place in the universities and colleges, have been developed through a consultative process. How much input has been provided by all the stakeholders, be it student, teachers, community at large, and administrators, etc. So, uh, if you just go by, I mean, I'm not talking about the current phase of institutional development plan. I hope your colleges or universities might have developed institutional development plan in line with the NEP 2020, or as per the guidelines of the University Grants Commission. But when I ask, whenever I interact with the colleagues, I ask, do you have institutional development plan? They say that yes, if I remember correctly, we have a plan. That is the first point of doubt because they are not sure whether the institution is having institutional development plan or not. Second question I asked that have you provided your own input or have you been a part of institutional development plan? Most of the faculty members, especially the new faculty members, say that no. So it means the even if institutional development plan may be in place, but institutional development plan generally has been prepared by a group of experts. Sometimes it is also outsourced in the sense that you invite some say people who are already in administration and management of institution, and you ask them to prepare the institutional development plan. What is really a matter of concern here that you are better person to know about your institution rather than somebody. Suppose I come to your institution for institutional development plan. I can provide a kind of guidance. I can provide a kind of framework under which institutional development plan could be prepared. But I am not, say, a competent person to develop your institutional development plan because you are aware about your own context of the institution, context of the teacher, context of the estate, say state context of higher educational institution. So variety of references could be there, which I may or may not be aware. And therefore, really important for us to think about institutional development plan afresh. I'm also reminded of some of you might have been a part of this exercise. In fact, earlier what was happening that we had already a RUSA scheme, by a centrally sponsored scheme of the HRD, now Ministry of Education. And many institutions, including colleges, they were getting grants under RUSA. RUSA in the 2012 onwards, it had also mandated that whosoever is claiming for resource, they must have institutional development plan. So many institutions, almost all institutions which were getting grants, they were supposed to submit the institutional development plan. But the way institutional development plans were submitted for grants, it was mainly as a measure of compliance rather than truly a process. In fact, the national education policy has recommended that every institution must have institutional development plan. And a very detailed framework or guidelines has been developed by the University Grants Commission. Um, I hope all of you have gone through the guidelines. If not, I'll be sharing a copy of the guidelines with the organizers, and it will be really important reference point for all of us to go through the guidelines for understanding institutional development plan. But whatever time I'm having, I would have loved to be in person, but this is another constraint. I am not able to do so. In fact, in one of the institution, I invested the whole day alone, starting from 9:30 to 6:30, and some kind of exercises were also made, and end of the day the faculty members could get insight how to develop the institutional development plan. But within this 80, 90 minutes, it may not be possible to enter into a kind of exercise for institutional development plan. But I do not make a PowerPoint presentation in this mode. It becomes little difficult for me. What I'll do, I'm having PPT on institutional development plan. This PPT may be considered as indicative. I'll be sharing with all of you after this lecture. Second, I'll be also sharing a framework of institutional development plan, like how to prepare, so activities which are to be in place. Later on, not essentially now, later on, you can try to adapt and try to explore the possibility of contributing to your own institution in terms of institutional development plan. So that is, I mean, my preliminary remark. When it comes to institutional development plan, first question arises, that why do we need to have institutional development plan? I mean, for decades and say years, institutions have been running. Uh, Many institutions may not have the kind of institutional development plan which we are talking about in place. Still, they are excelling, they are doing very well. Definitely, I mean, financial plan, academic calendar, etc., have been in place, but a very comprehensive institutional development plan is missing in most of the institutions, which I already mentioned in the beginning. So, what could be the possible rationale and logic of institutional development plan? First of all, we need to understand, as I say, that the institutional development plan, the exercise of developing institutional plan, provides so enormous opportunity to know your own institution, that what are the strengths of your institution, what are the lacunas, what are the possibilities to contribute to institutional excellence. So that is really a important opportunity. I consider institutional development the entire process. Institutional development plan is a product, but when it comes to understand institutional development plan as a process, really it is important, and it can give you enormous scope to think about your own institution, to contribute to your institution, and also define a kind of roadmap for your institution for institutional excellence. So that is the idea. A parallel may be drawn. parallel, I suppose that all of you have been a part of NAC, say evaluation. And in the NAC evaluation, every institution is supposed to submit self-study report. And I'm sure if roughly around 80 people are in this group, I suppose that at least 50 people must have been a part of the self preparation of self-study report. So if you just go back to the self-study report, you might have also seen that sometimes what happens, we take it for granted that everything is fine with our institution and there is hardly any need to make any kind of intervention. We are already in place and there is no scope to go further. And many times this is also assumed that we are premier institution, we are excellent institution. But when it comes to evaluation and revisiting your own institution and taking cue from your NAC self-study report, as you are aware that now the framework is changing. But in the existing framework of NAC, 7 criteria already in place. And once you start, discussing or thinking about each of the criteria of NAC, like curricular aspect or teaching learning assessment or research and innovation, etc., all the 7 best practices or digital integration, leadership, governance, etc. So all the 7 criteria is there. And all those criteria, once you start thinking about each of them, sometimes you find very difficult how to put answer, how to give answer, because each and every criteria, each and every item will require evidence. So many times you may be doing teaching, you may be doing some kind of research, but it will be really difficult for you unless you are prepared yourself in terms of documentation and others. You may not be able to provide, answer to many of the questions or requirement of NAC, and that results into adverse grade to your institution. So this is a point of learning. Many faculty member would also agree that in the process of uh, preparation of self-study report, they also realize that these are the areas which need to be addressed, that need to be taken into account wherever we are thinking about our own institutional excellence. So what happens? A process starts. Like if your institution, I'm talking about university. So 250 a score for research and innovation. If you just start thinking about your institution and you put data related to research and innovation, many times you find that you are not coming to a level because you have not been able to publish the paper, you have not been able to disseminate researches, you have not been able to produce research output in the framework which is required, like Web of Sciences, Scopus, etc. Others may not be counted. If it is also about, say, UGC listed, care listed journals, etc., so that would be required. So what happens? The IQSC coordinator, IQSC director, and the academic leaders, institutional leader in your own institution, they start thinking about this. That this is a major area of gap in our institution. How to go about, how to deal with this gap, how to bridge the gap wherein we are at least at a reasonably good standing, and therefore interventions required. So this is just one example. So similarly, in different group, for in order to address this different criteria and different aspects of self-study report, institution starts taking care of each of the aspect. For example, curricular aspect. How far diversity is also one of the important, say, reference point for addressing the issue of diversity in the curriculum. That is, could be, have you paid any attention with regard to gender? It could be, if it is about teaching learning process, what is the kind of teaching learning process in institutions? So all these aspects are there. So this is an example that a NAC, or when NAC started, it is not that a NAC is an end in itself. We had already University Grants Commission. The University Grants Commission was created out of Act of Parliament, and the basic purpose of the University Grants Commission for General Education or university education was to ensure minimum quality in higher educational institutions. So regulation and grant both function combined together. But the again, this NAC was established in 1994, and further, say, development in 2015. NIRF ranking framework started in our own country context. All these measures are also indicating that a well-defined framework is needed, which could be also the basis of assessment, accreditation, ranking based on quantifiable parameters. So that aspect is, very, very important, and therefore, when many institutions which subjected them for NAC accreditation, and they started the preparation of self-study report, that provided them opportunity to think about their own institution and bridge the gap wherever gaps were identified, take corrective action in order to ensure that the institution is already in order, and everything is running as per the requirement and as per the defined criteria of institutional excellence. So that is a kind of learning. In a similar line, institutional development plan provides you ample opportunity to think about your own institution, to know about their strength, weakness, opportunities, and that also helps you in keeping your house in order. That is first important rationale. Second important rationale of this institutional development plan is that it also puts, also helps in defining your own roadmap for robust structure of, say, structure, process, and outcome based educational management. If you just see the NAC criteria, for example, the governance and leadership. In a similar line, governance and leadership, it requires that do you have board of management or board of studies or academic council or whatever institutional level structures are there as per the state act or a statute. If those structures are, in the first case, whether those structures are there in the university or college or not. If those are not in college, it could be a point, a negative point for the institution. And if these structures are there, whether these structures are functional or not, this functionality is measured in terms of number of meetings, how many meetings have taken place, what were the agenda of the meetings, how agenda has been translated into actionable points, what action has been taken on the based on the agenda and discussion in these bodies. So this helps us to put our own structure process of governance in place, which can result into outcome based, say, approach to governance and management. So that is really important second point or rationale for institutional development part. But rational is interrelated to the other two, that it can also help in driving institution in the desired direction. For example, if you are wishing your institution to be excellent institution, top institution, this could be useful thinking unless you have a roadmap, you have a concrete plan for ensuring that in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, the roadmap for your institutional excellence, it will remain just wishful thinking unless you have a plan in place. So this is yet another important rationale. But more than that, I consider institutional development plan as a tool of institutional strengthening governance and institutional excellence. So therefore, wherever we are located, in whichever say capacity we are a part of the university or institution of higher education, be it a college or so, it is really important for all of us to ensure that institutional development plan is prepared through a consultative process wherein teachers, all the stakeholders of the institution, starting if it is university, starting from vice chancellor and other administrative staff, non-teaching staff, or a student, faculty, community at large. This should be part. But more than that, now also the say industry representatives, etc., or in a sense, corporate houses may also be part of the institutional development plan. And the entire institutional development plan now needs to be prepared following a process of consultation. It is not just two or three people have been identified and they will develop the institutional development plan. If it is done so, the other faculty members, students, and others, they may not have ownership in the document which has been prepared. But if you are a part of the entire process, you have also shared your perspective, if you have also shared your thinking, if you have also shared your point or for defining the roadmap of the institutional excellence, definitely you would like to be part of its implementation. And the ownership of the document will be among all the stakeholders. So that is second important point. If we are talking about institutional development plan, two, three components I'll be talking about. First, I already talked about the rationale of the institutional development plan. Second, I'll be talking about that how to start and what could be the possible reference points for our institutional development plan. And then what is the process to develop institutional development plan? So this would be, and what could be the possible areas of institutional development plan. So these are the broad framework under which I'll be talking to you. Coming to the first, already I talked about a rationale of institutional development plan. But if we start in the backdrop of, say, national education policy, or as per the guidelines issued by the University Grants Commission for the institutional development plan, definitely two important reference point is essential to inform the idea of the process of institutional development plan. First is national education policy. Because this national education policy, I consider it as a game changer because number of recommendations have been made in the national education policy, and subsequent guidelines have been issued by the state governments and University Grants Commission. It is not, since we have been interacting with the faculty members, institutional leaders, educational administrators across the states. It is not that it is without any problem. a number of problems are also loaded in the process of implementation. I'm not denying that. But I take a view that national education policy provide enormous scope to redefine our purpose of education, redefine our road for say excellence. Now, the Indian higher education. Perhaps it is not that earlier education was not a concern in India, but in India as a rising power, really important. And the national education policy has already given a kind of vision that by year 2040, Indian education shall be second to none. Of course, Viksit Bharat to 2047. This is another, say, goal which we have set for ourselves. So one is that India is emerging as a global power. And Indian higher education, for that matter, now stands second largest in the world. And if we come to research and research output, it is almost third at the global level. So these are some of the promises which are already in place. And therefore, it is not just wishful thinking that India can emerge as a global leader in the field of education. Of course, a long way to go, because you may also take a position that in terms of global ranking, we do not stand anywhere. We are out of the global ranking top 100 universities. If we compare even in the Asian countries, be it South Korea, Japan, or China, or Malaysia, as compared to these Asian nations, we are not figuring anywhere in the first 100 top ranked universities or institutions in the world. It is also a reality. But it is not that we do not have possibility to emerge as a global leader. Not at all. And therefore, national education policy is providing us opportunity to rethink our education, reform our system, and define our roadmap for excellence and emerge as a global leader. If it is so, definitely the global trends have to be taken into account. So therefore, I would say that two important reference points when we are developing institutional development plan. It should not be unrealistic. Now we are getting integrated at the global level. And second, national education policy, almost all aspects are included in our national education policy. There could be a sharp gap between the vision and thinking, which is reflected in NEP 2020, and ground realities. I am not denying that. There could be apparent gap between these two. But it is also important to think that these gaps can be bridged. It is not that policy just in a year or 6 months or 8 months, everything will happen as desired. No, it may take some time, but because we are also trying to transform our higher educational institution. And this transformation is a process. Transformation cannot take place within months or a year. It may take a decade, but at least we have a kind of vision to transform ourselves. Subsequently, also enabling guidelines for the University Grants Commission or a state government to move ahead with the defined pathway. So that is a kind of promise. So therefore, it is important to make reference to the NEP 2020. So I said two important reference points for institutional development plan. First is that what is happening at the global level in the field of, say, higher education. And second is National Education Policy 2020. if I'm not strictly adhering to the idea of global trend, it could be more applicable in already top ranked institutions of higher education, that is university. But if it is collegiate context, just you take into account just NEP 2020, and NEP 2020 includes most of the aspects of global trend. For example, 4 or 5 areas I would like to highlight that what is the envisioning of NEP 2020. All of us are aware about. During the last 5 years, 4 years, we have been discussing about various aspects of NEP 2020, and by now we are aware about the recommendations and others. So I'm not going to repeat the same, but still I would like to highlight some of the points that if you are developing your own institutional plan, that those aspects should be taken into account. What are those aspects you can take into account? First is that national education policy is talking about multidisciplinary and holistic learning. Already guidelines are there. Already you might have implemented in your own institution, like 4 year undergraduate program. And this 4 year undergraduate program definitely is based on the idea of multidisciplinarity. That is one aspect of this. Second important aspect with regard to multidisciplinarity is that University Grants Commission has come up with the guidelines transforming single discipline institution into multidisciplinary institution. Already guidelines are there. And in this guideline, 3 propositions have been given for single disciplinary institution. I suppose that most of the institutions, in terms of its composition, is multidisciplinary institution. If there is any single disciplinary institution, the guidelines of the University Grants Commission, aligning with the recommendation of NEP 2020, has recommended that there could be 3 different possibilities. Single disciplinary institution can add disciplines, uh, other or departments, not discipline, departments to the institution other than the discipline of the institution. That is the first proposition. It means if you are a science college, you can add education department, you can add sociology department, you can add art and music, you can add similar kind of department. So one way of addressing this issue that yes, other departments are also part of the institution which can promote the idea of multidisciplinary. That is first proposition. Second proposition is the merger of institutions. So, if single disciplinary institutions are there and the same management is in place, 2, 3 institutions can be merged. And after merging this institution, there could be greater possibility of getting the idea of multidisciplinary institution realized in practice. That is second. Third is, say, clustering of institution. Basically, clustering of colleges. If colleges are located within, say, 4, 5, 6 kilometers or say so, or those colleges can be clustered. There could be an issue if it is government, say, college, the government colleges, the directorate or commissionerate of education take a decision and they can cluster the institution. Clustering of institution could be one. Second possibility could be clustering of subjects. For example, you are offering physics as a subject, but you do not have adequate facility in your own college. You do not have sufficient number of teachers. And others may have better kind of resource support. So they can, that's subject clustering could be one possibility. Institutional college clustering could be yet another possibility. So these are really, really important way to transform the institution of higher education into multidisciplinary institution. So therefore, when you are developing institution plan of your institution, this aspect has to be taken into account. The second important aspect of this is flexibility in terms of teaching learning process. Flexibility. So already guidelines are there. One is, of course, 4-year undergraduate course, multiple entry and exit, academic bank of credit, framework of credit accumulation and transfer. These aspects have to be taken into account. So combining both the idea of multidisciplinarity and flexibility in the learning experiences of students, if you are combining these two, you have to think in your own institutional context how it will get implemented. Even if you have certain constraint at the moment, but now it is requirement, it is need of the hour, and you are developing your plan. This has to be taken into account that in 3 years that will be your plan, in 5 years means short term, medium term, long term. So some of the things may not be possible immediately, but it is not just in a mode of compliance. Compliance is important because without compliance you cannot say to the state government or UGC and others. That is also important. But what I am emphasizing that more than compliance, it should be our coming from within based on thinking how it has to be done, etc. So that aspect is also important. Third important is about skills and employability. All this I hope it has already been discussed in your program, so I'll not be giving much emphasis on this. Flexible assessment, that is yet another say important recommendation. Digital integration in the entire teaching learning process. So these are some of the important recommendation besides the creating the robust research ecosystem, working towards improvement in gross enrollment ratio of a student. Maharashtra is, of course, reasonably good gross enrollment ratio in higher education. But there are many states which are much below the national average. Average, you may be aware about that now the gross enrollment ratio is 28.43 or 4%, as per the last higher education survey report. But if you go, this is a kind of quantum jump during the last, say, 2 decades. At the beginning of this century, our gross enrollment ratio was in single digits, 7 or 8%. Now, if we have reached to the state of 28%, and the NEP has given a goal that by year 2035, our gross enrollment should be 50%. So do you have any plan to include in your institutional plan how to improve gross enrollment ratio? That should be also taken into account. Then addressing the issue of, say, diversity. Because now higher educational institutions are being diversified in multiple ways. If higher educational institutions are being diversified, it is need that you work for that. How to address the issue of diversity? So, as a component of institutional development plan, this idea, including the diversity management plan should be considered as an integral aspect, or there could be also a component of diversity management plan. That is important. Coming to the actual exercise. So two component I already covered. First, I say that what is rational. Second, what could be the possible reference point. I'm saying that institutional development plan has to be prepared in the backdrop of national education policy. That is really, really important. Third point I'm coming to this is that how to go about what is the process of institutional development. So first of all, you need to revisit your vision and mission of your institution. Each and every institution must be having vision and mission. But I'm not sure how many of us are aware about the vision and mission of our own institution. Many times, when the institution is established, the leadership who have played important role in establishing the institution, perhaps they go by the kind of framework of developing, framework of vision and mission. But many of us are not aware about the vision and mission of our own institution. It is in the changing framework of education, emerging framework of higher education institution, taking into account NEP 2020 as well as a task of institutional development plan. The first a step towards institutional development plan is to revisit this vision and mission of the institution. The vision and mission of the institution might have been developed after due process, due thinking. But it is also important to see whether the vision and mission of the institution, which are already defined and which are in place, whether this is also aligning with the changing times or not. Whether the vision and mission of the institution is aligning with the National Education Policy 2020 or not. This is also important. If you just see, so there could be possibility of revisiting mission and vision of the vision and mission of the institution, and if needed, through a consultative process, deep thinking, taking into account the national education policy, you can certainly you can modify, you you can add, suitably modify the vision and the mission of the your institution. The second step in this regard of institutional development plan is, component is rather a strategy, goal, and third is defining roadmap. If we are talking about institutional development plan, we can start. So I say that, yes, say envisioning exercise. Envisioning exercise will basically around the vision and mission of the institution. What is the goal of the institution? What is the roadmap of the institution? So these are essential components of institutional development plan. But when we come to the actual exercise of institutional development plan, perhaps the most important aspect of the institutional development plan is to be aware about your own institutional data. Institutional profiles should be in place since we work in our own institutional context. So definitely, we have a considerable understanding about our institutional context. But baseline data of institutions should be in place. What number of institutions, financial resource, students, courses, etc. That will provide you ready reference to think and rethink about the institution and future course of action. So first step here is to collect baseline data of your own institution, which you might have done in case of NAC self-study report. So that is first. Second step is SWOT analysis. So what is SWOT analysis? A strength, weakness, opportunities, and challenges. So as a point of exercise, you can do at your own institutional level, and you are doing this course. Once you go back to your institution, you report to your own principal, you report to the vice chancellor, or the academic leaders that yes, now we need to develop institutional development plan in a more informed manner, and therefore this could be the steps. First step could be apart from say vision, mission, etc., and collection of base data, SWAG analysis. So if for SWAG analysis, what I'm suggesting, which I'll be sharing, you draw a kind of table. In this table, column and row. In this first column could be taking a point of strength. So you just note down that what are the areas of strength of your own institution. Just list out one, two, three, four, five. And the parallel column or the second column could be that if these are the area of strength in respect of your own institution, then what are your strategies? What are your thinking to translate those areas of strength in tangible outcome. So strength area is there. I'm a very good teacher, I'm good scholar, I'm good professor, that is one. But how far I'm able to maximize my so-called goodness into tangible results. So a strategy in the second column. So these are the areas of strength, and based on these areas of strength, what will be our strategy to take advantage of our own strength? That is first. Second point of SWAC analysis would be area of weakness. You list out what are the weakness. Weakness is not that institutional functioning, internal functioning, etc. That could be a part of our internal discussion with our institutional heads or others. But when it comes to larger context of defining the aspect of, weakness, for example, one of the weaknesses of higher education is coming in faculty shortage. And whenever I'm interacting with many our faculty colleagues in different states, one of the one of the common points which is emerging and being highlighted across the state, that there is a shortage of faculty. Paucity of faculty is there. If paucity of faculty, regular faculty I'm talking about, if there is a paucity of teachers in our college or in our institution of higher education, how this NEP 2020 can be implemented. For example, 4-year undergraduate course. There are component of say ability and skill enhancement courses. Number of options could be given, and number of choices if you are given. Do you have adequate number of teachers to deal with these kind of choices? Many states and many colleges or institutions are saying that we do not have very specialized faculty in the area which may be very important for ensuring multidisciplinary and holistic learning, and also in the framework of ability enhancement or skill enhancement courses. So that is a practical problem. But if this practical problem is there, so weaknesses like this, faculty or resource crunch, non-availability, non-sustainable aspect of finance, etc., you list out the weaknesses. In the second column, you cannot just be only there that these are the points of weaknesses. What could be the possible ways of addressing the issues of weaknesses? You are in the institution. Your thinking could be instrumental in addressing the issue of your institutional weakness. So, therefore, what could be the possible strategies to deal with the areas of weakness over in a day or two or month? It may not be possible. For example, if you are implementing multidisciplinary courses in your own college, and if you do not have adequate number of teachers, one of the possibilities could be clustering of discipline, clustering of colleges, bringing together colleges, signing kind of memoranda of understanding between institutions, and providing opportunity for a student to learn from other colleges which you are not able to offer them due to paucity of teachers or non-availability of a specialized teacher. So this could be also this has to be addressed, and possibilities could be explored at your own level rather than somebody from above who will be giving this kind of say opportunity to you. So that is second. Third, SWOT analysis could be opportunities in the emerging context of higher education or in your own state context, your own college context, in your own locational and regional context. What are the opportunities which you consider that now this is opportunity to take advantage of the time? For example, nowadays more and more emphasis on skills and employability. If you have skill-based courses already in your college, or if you have good number of teachers in your own college, or if you are located in such a place wherein number of possibilities could be there to promote the idea of a startup, promote the idea of entrepreneurship, promote the idea of employment generative kind of courses. This could be opportunity. So you also identify opportunity which could be location based, which could be context based. So you define opportunity taking into account these aspects. Then in the second column, you also list out the strategy, how you will be taking advantage of opportunities which are already offered to you, and that can help in terms of moving ahead with the say roadmap for defining your own institutional growth. The last part of the SWOT analysis is challenges. If you have already your college context, but in your college context, what are the major challenges which you see while you are going ahead with the idea of implementation of say policy or implementation of course, etc. So these are the challenges. And challenges, what could be the possible, I mean, a strategy to address this kind of challenges. So this, once you are doing this exercise about your own institution, you are now thorough with the institutional context because you have institutional profile with you. I mean, baseline data and analysis of baseline data of your own institution, vision and mission of your institution, SWOT analysis you have already done. If I'm talking about that you are done, it does not mean that you will be doing alone. This will be a kind of collective thinking, a kind of exercise wherein different faculty and staff members are part of this exercise. So that is really important in this regard. So after SWOT analysis, you have all the picture related to a strength, weakness, opportunities, and challenges considerable, and do a kind of analysis. On the basis of your SWOT analysis, you define the strategic goal of your institution. Where do you want to go ahead, given the context of your institution? And if you are defining your institutional, strategies, or if you are defining, strategic goals, strategic goals could be in terms of time frame, long-term goals, medium-term goals, and short-term goals. Short-term goal could be that during the next 3 years, what is your goal? Where do you want to move? Do you want to remain the same or move ahead? So that will be the short-term, medium-term, and long-term. If you just take long-term, maybe 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, You may be also thinking that if your institution is already having sufficient number of faculty, resources, classroom, infrastructure, you would like to emerge as a university. If you are a college, you would like to emerge as a full-fledged university. If you are NAC accredited B grade institution, you may have a plan to emerge as a A plus plus graded institution during the next 15 years. So that could be a kind of goal exercise of goal setting for your own institution. That in short term, I mean, next 2 3 years, what you like to do, in next 7 to 8 years, what is your goal to do for this, and in 10 or 15 years, where do you want to go? So a goal setting exercise or a strategic goal, defining the strategic goal of your institution, that is really a starting point for you. If you have done both baseline data, SWOT analysis, vision, mission, and already defined your strategic goal. And now comes the whole idea of planning. So planning can be having 4 5, there could be many. And the University Grants Commission has already come up with the guidelines. In that guidelines, 8 enablers are identified, which include governance, academic, human resource, research, innovation, supportive mechanism, digital integration, etc., etc. So these are the enablers which have been defined and which have been indicated in the Institutional Development Plan guidelines of the UGC. But I'm talking about your own institutional context. What you can do, if, planning is one wherein you translate the strategic goal. आपने तो you have already thought, आपने सोच लिया कि next 15 years में हम यूनिवर्सिटी बन जाएंगे, और आपने सोच लिया कि next 15 years में हम अभी बी ग्रेड इंस्टीट्यूशन है, ए प्लस प्लस इंस्टीट्यूशन है, तो ये तो थिंकिंग है. आपने गोल भी सेट कर लिया, लेकिन गोल सेट करने के लिए इसके लिए आपकी strategic planning की जरूरत होगी, and therefore a strategic planning for achieving the goals. This is the next say step. In the next step, as per my understanding, few areas are really important as a component of a strategic planning. First is academic planning. Second is physical and infrastructure planning. Next is human resource planning. Then financial planning. Planning for equity and diversity management, planning for ICT integration in the process of teaching, learning, assessment, as well as governance, planning for internationalization of higher education or international collaboration, planning for social engagement of your own institution, planning for quality in enhancement and quality excellence, planning for creating a required or a very robust research ecosystem in your own university. So this could be the process, a part of your planning. Though this research and innovation could be subsumed under academic planning, but I'm putting it separately. So you just listed out the certain ideas. It may not be possible within the given time to discuss all I mean, component of planning, but I'll 2 3 4 component I'll take into account, and that could be important for all of us as a teacher. First is academic plan. If you are doing the exercise of academic planning, what will be the immediate reference point? I'm approaching the whole idea of academic planning. Of course, academic planning may include a number of things, but specifically from a teacher's perspective, teacher as an important entry point for academic planning. That is I'm starting with. So, what could be the possible say areas related to academic planning? First is related to course, curriculum, and say course and curriculum planning. Uh, Many of us are already involved in this process of course and curriculum planning. That is one. But how this course and curriculum planning has to be seen? What could be the possible area of engagement with regard to academic planning? If it is academic planning, a specific reference to curriculum. So, as in the beginning, I already indicated that national education policy or subsequent guidelines for giving shape to the idea of or vision of the NEP 2020 should be taken into account. So, if you are doing our academic planning, especially related to course and curriculum, what could be the important reference point? First important reference point is about curriculum plan. So, in the curriculum, what kind of idea, which kind of ideas need to be integrated in our curriculum? So, first important, needless to mention here is idea of multidisciplinarity and holistic learning. So, what kind of curriculum and courses will be offered in our institution aligning with the idea of, sorry, aligning with the idea of multidisciplinarity and holistic learning. So multidisciplinary. So you are the better person to understand that how will give the idea of multidisciplinary concrete shape in your own courses which you are planning to offer and also in curriculum. So that is important. Second curriculum related intervention could be in terms of flexibility. Sorry. Second point is related to flexibility. So curriculum has to be also flexible, flexibility an integral part of course and curriculum. That is the second important reference. Third important point, which is really important, that the kind of courses which you have been offering now that may require substantial change because skills and employability, that is the most important reference point. And therefore, when you are thinking about the courses or program or curriculum, how idea of skills, promoting skills and employability can get reflected in entire course curriculum or program, that is the most important necessity and important component of your academic plan. So that these are some of the indicative say area. Second related to this academic planning could be teaching learning process. If you just see the teaching learning process in most of the cases, now it is highlighted. The teaching learning process should be, say, learner centric rather than teacher centric. It means students have to be given, say, multiple option to think about. It should not be a student-centric. So the entire teaching learning process need to be demand-driven rather than supply-driven. So it is not that whatever we have studied and we'll be considering a student as a kind of bank and will be depositing the kind of say that will not work. Now a student may have different perception, that a student may be having different demand, and your institution has to be relevant to the demands of the student, and therefore courses, curriculum, as well as teaching and learning methods have to be aligned with student demand, it has to be aligned with market demand, it has to be aligned based on skills and employability based curriculum, as well as the teaching learning possibility. Specifically in the teaching learning process, it has to be student centric rather than teacher centric. That is the second important point in this regard. Once academic planning you have done, of course, so you will require to do some kind of human resource planning. So you have already decided a strategic goal that in next 15 years we would like to emerge, develop like this. So a number of courses you may have also planned, aligning with the market demands and others. So if you have done this exercise of curriculum development or course development, it is also now time to ensure that do you have adequate human resource support to offer the courses or run the institution? If it not, your plan should also include that what will be your strategy to deal with the human resources which are required to be in place in order to ensure better outcome in your own institutional context. So number of faculty required, if it is not, what would be the possible strategy to bridge the gap, etc. So you have to think about these aspects in your own state context, in your own institutional context. That is second, very important. Third important aspect could be physical and infrastructure planning. Physical, infrastructure may not be in place. If good numbers of students are coming to the institution, you may not have adequate number of classroom to provide them or accommodate them at the same time. So infrastructure planning is also needed. That in, taking in view variety of courses you may be also planning to offer. So what would be the requirement? Requirement of classroom, requirement of library, requirement of hostel, requirement of support structure for the students and teachers, also a requirement for accommodation for the teachers, etc. So variety of infrastructure, digital resources or digital infrastructure. So there must be a kind of roadmap that in 2 3 years how would be dealing with the issue of infrastructure in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So that has to be also in place. Then financial planning and management. That is yet another very important component of institutional plan. Here, what I'm saying that it is really important for us to think about the whole idea of
अहो प्रोजेक्ट भेटले तर आम्हाला द्या बरं आम्ही सांगितलं.
Srikant also. Just mute yourself. It is creating disturbance. Okay, so what I'm saying that finance is a major constraint in the contemporary case. If finance is emerging as an important constraint, how to deal with the financial requirement? There must be a strategy. How would you be ensuring financial sustainability of your institution? Do you have any well-defined plan for this? Financial sustainability could be one of the important reference point for institution, because you may not have required resources if it is about infrastructure or human resource or offering courses and program. In this regard, you may need sufficient finance in the first place, and therefore as a part of planning, what will be the financial sustainability? It is not a matter of 1 year or 2 years. How would you be ensuring your financial sustainability which can sustain your institution? You may be aware that nowadays lots of talks are going on how to mobilize resources. alternative mode of financing higher educational institution. Many times it is also referred as innovative way of financing. What could be the innovative way of financing? Can we just think about a student say fee? Certainly not. There could be diverse kind of a student. There could be variety of ways of mobilizing resources. One could be, of course, letting out, renting out some of the facilities. That could be the most apparent possibilities. Other possibilities, especially in the context of universities, that is also being highlighted, that consultancy could be an important resource generating, say, IPR could be yet another resource generating initiative, not just for individual faculty, but for the entire institution. So, number of possibilities are also being worked out. Similarly, sponsored researches, that could be yet another. So, therefore, when you are thinking about financial planning and financial, say, possibilities, that should be also in place. uh, Detail out that what would be the financial requirement for each of the component, like offering courses, infrastructure upgradation, human resource hiring, etc. So definitely that all these activity will require funding and financing. So what will be the source of funding? What will be the mechanism of financially supporting these endeavors? A roadmap has to be designed, and a clear cut, say, planning for meeting each of the requirements in terms of also finally resulting into financial sustainability of the institution. That is the next important say. Then the other important component now, ICT. How can you leverage information technology in your own institutional context? That is now needed. All of us are aware. This is itself an example that I'm interacting with more than say 80 or so participants. It is not possible. Uh, I mean, uh, uh, just I received information. I'm interacting. You are in different places. Some of you are also doing your household job, but others are listening. So that's a different story. But important is that now ICT could be, an important enabler for entire academic endeavor, and therefore integration of ICT and variety of, advancement in terms of technology like AI or generative AI and others. Already variety of developments have taken place. We cannot just keep ourselves away from this kind of development. Now the technology has to be deeply embedded in our teaching learning process. In other words, leveraging technology for teaching, learning, and governance. So that is, for example, in centrally funded institution, there is already a module which is helping us or leading towards e-governance from the governance perspective. So it is very transparent. We can see how many leaves are, say, available, whether it has been approved or not, or e-office, yet another tool for improving, say, transparency and accountability in governance. And that is ICT enabled. In a similar manner, teaching learning is now, if the talk is about 50% gross enrollment ratio, it may not be possible over a night. We could, given the number of teachers, given the constraint of infrastructure and resources, that may not be possible. But if you take advantage of, say, digital infrastructure, it may be possible. The University Grants Commission has already come up with the framework that under which 40% of the courses may be offered in say online mode. It is also that swim-based courses could be also opted by the student, but those have to be validated, those have to be certified by the institution. So procedure involved. So the idea here is how do you integrate ICT in your own institutional context, be it teaching learning process or assessment, or also in terms of governance. So that plan has to be also in place. As I said, that now diversity is emerging as a major issue and problem in the institution of higher education. Each and every institution is required to have a clear cut or clear terms a diversity management plan. The composition of a student is drastically changing, wherein more number of girls students are coming in. A student from variety of social and economic background, they are also coming to the institution of higher education, and learning diversity is also in place. That in terms of level of learning, classrooms are now diversified. As a teacher, how do we deal with classroom, say diversity? We have not been trained in this regard. And therefore, as a part of institutional plan, there must be a kind of, say, plan to deal with institutional approach towards dealing with the issue of diversity and management in terms of say institutional support system, in terms of grievance redressal, in terms of supportive mechanism for a student coming from variety of background. If there is a language barrier, mechanism to address this issue of language barrier, and of course gender and others. That is one. But it is more than that. How do we integrate students in entire teaching learning context of the institution? Academic integration of a student. For academic integration of a student in our own institutional context, teacher is the most important driving, say case. The teacher can ensure better classroom management, but have our teacher been trained to deal with classroom diversity? Certainly not. And if it is not, at times the entire teaching learning process may amount to be exclusion for majority, meaning of students in the institutional context. And the education in any institution has to be inclusive. How can we ensure inclusive education within our own classroom? So, teacher competency to be built to deal with the diversity in the classroom, in terms of language, in terms of learning level of the student, etc. So it cannot be left to the individual teacher. That is, we are already managing in our own way, however it's possible. But there is a need to have robust mechanism and also kind of program to develop teacher competency to deal with diverse class. That is to be there, and also definitely a issue of how to deal with diversity in the institutional context. So that should be an integral part of the institutional development plan. It is also about, in some of the cases, internationalization could be also an important, because internationalization is now being highlighted as one of the reference points in national education policy. In college context, it may be having limited scope, but I'm sure that many of the colleges may have also international collaboration. It is not essentially that all the colleges have international student, may or many, but you may have important international collaboration in terms of research collaboration, in terms of if it is university and A graded, there is a now possibility to have dual degree, joint degree, and training programs with any foreign institution. There could be also possibility of inflow of a student by designing a course which may be relevant to the groups which you are intending to address. So these are this is also equally important. But finally, it is important to have a planning for quality enhancement of your own institution and a framework for institutional excellence. Institutional excellence is culmination of your own, say, components of planning. In this case, what is your plan to, if you are a B graded institution, to emerge as a A plus plus graded institution? If you are in 500 rank colleges as per NIRF and others, or institution universities, then what are your plans? Where do you like to be graded? Number one, number two, out the top 100. So definitely in this case, excellence, and you have to work accordingly. That should be integral part of your planning process. So this is about planning. Once planning is done, definitely you require a kind of roadmap. How will be implementation plan? I'm saying one, you have done say planning, but how this idea could be implemented. So action plan, and action plan or action points in terms of years, in how many years this will be done and others. So this is, once this is done, your plan is already in place. It also, the process of institution plan also involves that monitoring of the plan, and after this monitoring and evaluation, you also need to have course of correction. If you find that there are some gaps, course of correction is also required to be in place. So this is all about institutional development plan. I tried my level best to cover within this limited time. But I'll be also sharing the copy of PPT and other resources with you. And you may take a view on this, and you try to be part of this your own institution, and part of developing this whole exercise of institutional development plan. I wish to say reflect more about research ecosystem, which I'm not able to, because time will not be permitting. So I'll stop here. But if you have any question to ask, clarification to seek, you are most welcome. Any question or clarification from your side? If there is no question or clarification to seek, I'll ask the organizer to suggest what is to be done. Okay, okay, fine. So if there is no question or clarification, then I'll stop here, and I'll be leaving the meeting. Thank you. Is it okay? Any person from MMTTC Amravati University? Perhaps no one is there. Anyway, convey my thanks to them. Thank you everyone.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Very thanks. I'm here. Very
Okay.
thanks for a nice lecture.
Okay,
And
thank you.
yes, the whole lecture was very informative and helpful to the participants. Of course, on behalf of my Shishivadi Science College, I am very much thankful to you, and very informative lecture. Of course, it will help in us developing a good teaching expertise. Thank you so much.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, sir.